Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Have an amazing track for you guys today. We're going to learn how to play This Love by the immortal Pantera. So I get requested this one a lot, so it's time to crank it out, I guess. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell, of course, so you know when I release a new video. And check out my Guitar Academy, please. I have a 7-day free trial right now. I have limited spots available. You'll see the link in the description. My Guitar Academy contains all my guitar courses if you're interested. From everything from a complete beginner course to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone, you name it. I got it all in there, and I'm adding a lot to it every single week. So please come join the great community we already got going on over there, and you get a 7-day free trial just to try it out. So click the link in the description there. All right, so now the tuning is it's kind of really based off an E-flat tuning. You know, Dimebag's kind of the tuning will slightly vary and stuff, but it's based around an E-flat, half tuned down a half step here. So that's what I'm tuned with, and it sounds fine just to play along with. The recording actually pretty good just is in E-flat. All right, so every string tuned down a half step. And we got some really cool sections here, so I'm going to go through the entire song, including Dime solo. Only section I'm not going to I'm going to go through is the little outro section, which is kind of some random guitar wailing and some the same arpeggio figure that we do throughout the song. So I'll skip that, but everything up to that we'll be doing. All right, so let's start here with these intro thing. It's just really cool, really ominous sounding. So this is pretty simple to play. You're going to start with just a bar across the second fret across the E, A, and the D string is all you need. So you have that with right there at the second fret, and then add the 4th fret there on the A. So what we're going to be doing is picking across from the 6th string, the E string to the A to the D. Pretty cool. And then all we have to do now is change the note on the low E string to the 3rd fret. And then this time when we pick from the 6th, the E to the A to the D, back down to the A and back down to the E. So you pick all the way across and back when you add that 3rd fret. So we have this. And then back. So just repeat that. So you do that 4 times. And then just move everything down 1 string. So it's pretty easy. Now it's based off the A string there. So that was based between A, D, and G strings, but the same exact frets and same picking. So 4 times off the low. Then twice off these strings. And then back to 4 times on the low 3 strings. I'm sorry, back 2 times there when you get there. And then we go to this little ending section. All right, so that part right there is going to start with the 4th fret there on the A, 2nd on the D, and then the open G string. So just pick across. It's the same picking pattern that we did before. So pick just across those 3 strings, the A, D, and the G. And then change the note on the A string down to the 3rd fret there. Everything else stays the same, except now we have that full picking pattern all the way from A to the G, and then back down to the D. So we have this kind of all the way back down to the A. So it's just a kind of that a full picking pattern versus just across 3. So now when you go to repeat, the first chord changes. It's so you're gonna have to do a bar now. So it's the 4th fret there on the A string, 2nd fret on the D, and 2nd fret on the G. So, and then the 2nd chord is the same that we did before with the same picking. And then we kind of rotate between that chord again. So we have this. So the opening, the first time you play this, you have an open G. Then the bar. All right, and then what we're gonna do from there, we have 4th fret on the low E, 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D. Just that, and then what we're gonna do is an A minor chord to end it this first time you hear it, just right before the vocals come in. So that's the 5th fret on the low E, 3rd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, and the G. So from here. And then the vocals come in pretty much over the exact same intro riff that we just did. Really the only thing that changes is this is played twice as long. And this first ending, instead of just hitting that chord like that, we go like this. Which is just picking across those same chords, but when we do that A minor chord, we're gonna pick the E, A, D, back to the A, and then you go back to start that ending again. And then the second time through now, you're gonna end it like we did in the intro there. So it's just that little, kind of an extended ending for the verse. All right, and now we continue, we have this little kind of intro, this little solo there over the kind of basic arpeggios and stuff. And that little solo is pretty cool. It sounds like this. All right, so that's just kind of based on the 11th fret here. You can do it here. You can do it wherever you want, but 11th fret here. And the notes it's kind of messing around with is 11, 9, 8, 6. So we've got a little bit of whammy bar stuff. And then after you hit that 6, you can hit it again with it. So it's just the pinch harmonic here, but it's up here, like you basically say that's 24 frets above that note. So it's kind of where that would be on my guitar, and that's what that harmonic is that it hits. All right, now coming out of that, we have the chorus. The chorus really rocks. It's got kind of a weird timing to it, which I'll break down how to play it. But it sounds like this. You take this. All right, so basically what we have here is a 16th note feel. So let me break down what's going on first on the beats. So it's going to make it easier to understand where to leave it, because we basically have this little straight ahead, and then going on. So how to time that is you got to count it in 16th notes. So if you know how to count 16th notes, it's kind of like for every beat there's 4 notes. So it's like 1 E and 2 E. So the numbers there are the beats. So 1 E and 2 E and so on the 1 E is the first hit. And then on the 3 E is the next hit. And then on the next measure, the 1 E is that. So it's like 1 E and and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and so those are the main hits. And there's little pickups that he adds. So the first time through, you just play the first like 1E and 2E and then the last 16th note of the second beat, you hit this F sharp power chord again, and then you get to go back and do the which we talked about before, the 3E is where the next happens. So we have so far like 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E, and then on going to there's two pickups now into the third hit. So the third hit meaning the 1E that happens on that second measure. So before that, we're going to hit the F sharp now twice instead of once, and that happens on the the last two 16th notes of the fourth beat of the measure before. So so far, so you can count where we're at. We're like 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and so that's where that little and at the end of the measure, the last two 16ths, and then you continue with that. It's just 1E and 2E and okay. So that's and then the last two beats. So it's basically a 2-measure riff that lasts for 2 measures. So that's the first measure and a half that we checked. So it's like 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and then the last two beats we have this. All right, so. So very dissonant sounding. What they are is there's 3 quarter. They're quarter note triplets. So what that means is 3 quarter notes spaced over the space of 2 beats. All right, so that's what gives it kind of floating feeling about those. So we have the 3rd fret on the A string. It's a little minor 3rd, and then the 1st fret on the D, and then the 2nd fret on the A and the open D. And then that 3rd fret on the low E, 1st fret on the A. So all together we have this. So after you've done that twice, he then goes back and just does the initial hits on the 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E without the pickups. So that's that one. I'm going this. Same quarter note triplet ending though. And end it with that F sharp power chord. So all together with this. All right, and then we have the same verse as before, and then out of that verse we go into back into the arp section, and there's another little kind of quick little solo there, which basically sounds like this. All right, so that's going to be starting with the hammer from 9 to 11 on the G, and then do that again, and then play 10, 12. Then what you're going to do is a pre-bend at that 12th fret, and release it and pull off to 10, and then do the pre-bend and release twice, but just releasing it to the bend. You don't pull off to the 10th fret. So we have this. And then the last one you do pull off to the 10th. And then up to the bend here at the 17th fret there on the B string. All right, now so out of that, we go back into the same chorus that we just covered, and then we get to this really kind of kicks into gear. We get to the bridge riff, which is really quick. I'm gonna play through that really quick. This riff is probably the hardest part of the song, by the way. It's actually harder than the solo, so it's pretty challenging to get up to speed. And you'll see it usually played a little bit differently than Dimebag actually plays it, but I'm gonna play it like he does here. So it sounds like this. All right, so that is a challenging riff. Now, I'll show you the part that when you see most people doing covers, they play it like that, which Dime doesn't do it like that. He plays with the open A string. But so I'll show you that when we get there. So we're gonna start with this. So that's gonna be all of it heavily palm muted here. So we have 0, so the low E string, 0, 1, 2, little chromatic thing. Then over to the 4th fret on the A string once. Then you go back to the 2nd fret there on the low E twice. Then jump over to the 4th fret there on the D, followed by the 4th fret on the A. So. And then here, you'll usually see people, it's a little bit easier to play it like this. But Dime actually did it like that with the open A. He loved using open A strings that kind of had a more punch to them. So he did it the more difficult way, but it sounds better, I think. So we have open A string, and then 2, 3 on the low E string, back to the A on the open A. So we have this. Then you basically repeat that. So you notice when you repeat it, it's going to make you do that open A string twice. So we have this so far. So when you get it and you get into the groove with it, it sounds really cool. It's really fun to play. Then you start the riff over. Basically, when you get to that open A riff, though, you just do it once the second time through. And then to end that first half of that riff, you grab the power chord of the 3rd fret, the G power chord. So all together so far, halfway through. Actually, we're not halfway through yet. Now we start the same riff again, though. So that was just like the first time that we played it. Then we have this. So basically, you're starting the riff over again. But after those 2 4s across the D to the A here, at this part, then you just play a heavily palm muted power chord at the 2nd fret, and then work your way up 1 fret at a time till you get to the 7th fret. So we have this. So all together, we have this so far. And then you kind of start repeating the same way. And then at kind of the second time, you just kind of do the same little thing. Just go. Just hit that 7th fret a couple of times and then slide off. All right, so that's a very challenging riff to get up to speed. All right, and then we get to take a break and just groove. We have this. All right, so we basically just kind of just the 0-2 power chord, heavily palm muted, and then goes up to 3, and then back down to 2, back to 3, and then end it there on the 1. So you let that ring. So 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, and at the end of it, there's a little bar dive there at the end of that riff. And then we go into the solo from there. Now, the solo has a little bit different arpeggios kind of underneath it. It starts with the same riff that we did before, but goes and does a few different things there. So I'll play through the solo rhythm first. So it sounds like this. So you kind of get the point. So it's the same riff that we did there in the verse, just kind of like 4 times there, and then twice here, then back to twice down to the lower strings. And then this new section is right here. So that's going to be start the 5th fret there on the A string, 3rd fret on the D, and 2nd fret there on the G. So pick across those 3 strings. Then you're going to play, just basically move the note on the A string down to the 4th fret. And then do that full picking pattern here now across those 3 strings. From the A across to the G and then back down to the A. So we have this. And now move the note on the A string down to the 3rd fret. So in order to do that, you probably want to replace this here. So the 3rd on the A and the D, 2nd on the G. So you just pick across those 3 strings. And then we're going to do this. That's 2nd fret on the A, 3rd fret on the D, and then open G, and that full picking pattern now. So we have this. Twice. Then back to the end of the solo there. All right, so pretty cool chord progression going on underneath there. So now let's take a look at the solo itself. Got some big delays on it, so I'm going to put them on. Fun to play with. All right, sounds like this. right, so that ending right there is kind of noisy on the recording. So it sounds like he's doing something a little bit like that down there, but it's really hard to kind of completely pick up. There's some overdubs going there too. But anyway, we're going to start here with this bend at the 16th fret on the G string. And then do it again. Take it a few times. Release the bend and pull off to 14. And then slide down. So we have this. All right, and then we're going to go up an octave here, and we're at the 19th fret on the high E string. Couple of bends there. And then what you're going to do is release that bend. You release that bend, pull it off to 17. Over to 19 on the B. Back to 17 on the high E. And then back to that 19 on the B. Into a big bend there. So this. And then, you're going to play 17, 19 on the B, over to 18 on the G, back to that 19 on the B. So we have this. And then, there's a quick little, you can hammer 14 to 16 there on the G string, and then back to the 14. You can do it here if you want. All right, and then we have this. All right, so start still together on the neck pickup here. We have this. So 13, 12, 10 on the high E string. And then you do a bend at the 13 there on the B. Back to that 10 on the high E, and then back into that 13 with some vibrato. So we have this. And then what he does here, he jumps up to the 17th fret and a half step bend there with some vibrato on it. So hit this. Then he played 13, 17 on the high E string. And then from there, kind of a pre-bend at that 17th fret and release. Now from there, he kind of does this little arpeggio from the 13 on the high E string. After you release that bend, 13 on the high E, 17 on the B, to 15 on the G. And then real quick, he'll play 17 and slide up to 18 on the B, down to 14 on the G, into a bend there at the 15th fret on the B string. And this is when I switch to the bridge pickup, because he has to then hit a pinch harmonic on that. And those are easy to do with the bridge pickup. So we have this. All right, now from there we have this ending. So that's going to start a lot of vibrato down here. We're going to play the 2nd fret there on the G, and then play 4, pull off to 2 on the D, and back to 4. From there, we're going to play 2nd fret on the D string, then hammer 3 to 4 on the A, back to that 2nd fret on the D, and then come back down. That plays 4, 3, 2, pull off to the open A, over to the 2 on the low E string. So we have this. And you can hit the low E if you want, and then it just kind of sounds like some bends at the 2nd fret on the D string. kind of really digging in. And then it sounds like he plays. I was playing it up here, that E power chord here, but you can also hear an open A in there. So, so you'd have to play the E down here, so you get the open A. And he's down there anyway, so it makes sense. So that's the 5th fret on the B, 4th fret on the G, 2nd fret on the D string, and open A string. So he kind of does a quick little bar dive into it, bar dip, and then back down. So wait. All right, and then from there we go back into the chorus, and then we have kind of after the chorus we have the fast version, I call it, of the groove riff that we did earlier. So it's like. So it's kind of like a sped up version of the other. So. All right, so basically it's the same chords, just kind of like that more aggressive rhythm there. Keep it really tight. And then coming out of that, we have some power chords that go back into, then it goes back into the slow grooves. We kind of like. So those chords that he's playing is first, it's a B power chord with a 5th in the bass. So what that means is you have that B power chord, the 2nd fret off the A string there, power chord, 2nd fret on the A, 4th on the D, but you're gonna add the 5th in the bass. So that's gonna be the F sharp, so the 2nd fret on the low E string as well. Makes it sound an octave lower basically. Then the regular E, open E power chord, and then the regular F power chord off the 1st fret. And then we do another one of those power chords with the 5th in the bass. Same chord we did before at the 2nd fret, but up at the 3rd. So we have. And then into the slow groove that we did before. All right, so that's about all we're gonna cover of this. It's just an awesome track, just so well done. Just got some really cool clean sections with really cool arpeggios, and then some killer riffs, and then just a really atmospheric, almost really melodic solo. So I think Dime gets kind of underrated for how melodic his solos are, because they can be so chaotic and just so incredible, but they're all really music. You can almost sing them, it sounds like. I mean, even his crazy solos are just, they have so much really cool kind of melodies in them that just really work well. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.